Okay, I am making this video because I had a very difficult time finding any information about this online, and I also had a very difficult time finding info about it in my Haynes manual. I apologize for it being night, but that's when I have the time to work on my truck. Let's see, the starter switch in this guy is in a tight little space right in there. I already have it removed. Right down here, get the light on it, is what the guy looks like. So that's it off. That's what the inside of it looks like. It has that little rim right there. And what that attaches to underneath the ignition key lock there, if you can see it, is that little plastic piece right in there. There's a couple of things that you have to do before you get to the point of getting this far, and I'll explain the steps as I go. First off, I had to take off the entire lower dash panel, and that's held on with a couple of screws. You can get off with a hex bolt, a standard socket. I can't remember the socket of it off the top of my head, but it's, if you have your basic $5 socket kit, you can pull the thing off. And then another first that you got to do is remove the airbag. I know the airbags are different from truck to truck. Mine's the '98 model Silverado. And the airbag is pretty simple to remove. There are, I don't know if I can't actually get back there with the camera. There's a little slot back there, and I'll turn the light around so you can see what the airbag looks like. What you do is you stick a screwdriver in there, and mine has these two prongs, one right there, one right there, and you basically just push those back, and that allows you to pull it off. You want to be really careful in handling that thing, and make sure when you store it up, so that way if it does fire, it's not going to shoot and have the risk of sharp objects flying at your face. And then you got to remove this yellow wire from it. Very easy process. After you get the bottom off, then you get this part off here, the shrouds around the column. And what you have to do to get those off in the '98, there's two Torx bits at the bottom. I was able to get those out with an Allen wrench. And then once you get through there, you have to actually deal with a couple of E-sockets. If you can see right up there, there's a little hole with a screw missing in it. I guess it would be just to the left at the top. That's one of the E-sockets that you have to remove to get access to the top. And then there's another one. You can see the top of it. You can see the top of the bit right there. There's another E-socket that you got to grab. You'll have to, I'll try to show you kind of what you got to do. You got to really rip this down and around, especially if you have the tilt wheel, to get to that. And let me see. And if you don't know what an E-socket is, I will show you. This is an E-socket. Basically, it's like the inverse of a Torx screw. And what you're going to need to do this job is one E4 socket, and then the other one is, excuse me, the other one is an E5. So an E4 and an E5. The E5 is what you need to get the top of the column shroud off. The E4 is actually what you're going to need for the next step, which is, adjust this light, which is right in here. Getting the keys, or getting the starter switch out requires an E4. And right here is a screw that will require an E4, and right up here is a screw that will require an E4. Now this is pretty unique because without removing this whole piece, you kind of have to work a little magic to get that one out because there's very little clearance for it. I used a tool that I found at Home Depot. I'll turn this around for you. It's the Husky 8-in-1 slotted and filled. It's basically a precision screwdriver kit, but the end of this precision screwdriver, even though it's a hexagon socket, it was the perfect size to get into and get that little bit out. And then as you move down to the bottom, basically that's all you got to do up here to get that out. And this is the new one of mine that's going in. And as you move down to the bottom where that wiring goes all the way down, and I guess let me show you real quick. If you're just considering doing this job and want to know what a starter switch looks like, this is the old one. That's the end that I showed you off the old one. And then up here is that's what goes down to the bottom. And there's actually one other thing I forgot to show you up at the top. Right up in here, this is what you got to get the top off for. Up over there, you can't see what I'm doing unless I point it out to you. There we go. So up in here is actually where give you a perspective of where you are. Right here is the ignition, or the key lock, where you plug your key in. You're going to have a little plug that's going to be right in here, and another plug that's going to be right in here. They have to pry out with either a small screwdriver or a flathead, and just to get those out. Those are going to be attached to your old starter switch. And down here at the bottom, let's see if you can see in here. Down at the bottom, another thing you're going to have to remove is this little plate right here. It'll be basically supporting this hose that goes to the air vent at underneath the driver's seat. Let me see if I can show you what's going on back in here. There is a screw that just has a little glint right there that you're going to have to take out, and that is done with what size is that? That's done with a 7.5 millimeter, and there's a couple of things you can do with this. As you get back on there, you'll notice that the whole mount is attached to two other slot mounts that will have to be removed before you can and attached to the new switch. And that whole system is attached to a little sled that you'll also remove with the 7.5 millimeter. And then get all inside of my truck. Here we go. So right here is the bottom side of that switch, and right here is a screw that you can undo to remove its sled, and that's where it's attached. And then this is the switch as a whole, and there's a piece right here and a piece right here that will slide out of the old switch and slide into the new. And once you get down in here to get that out, you kind of realize what's going on. There's also a little piece right here that you're going to have to remove. I'm not sure if that goes to, I'm not quite sure what that goes to, but I know that's on the new piece. And there's another one that's kind of difficult to get out, that the wire will actually run up and around your steering column shaft right here, and come around, and the little piece that you're going to have to pull it out of is Zoom out as much as I can. Well, I guess if you can see it, it's just on the other side of this barcode right over there. So those are all the pieces that you're going to have to pull out, and then again, putting it all back in, basically the reverse of what I showed you. So hopefully that helps, because I know I was lost and I just kind of went at the whole thing blindly. So again, this install works in a 98 Silverado, or probably the 98 Tahoe Suburbans, and I think it's that way all the way back down to 95. So hope it helps you out.